Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. Man, the Knicks built a 14-point lead and then were down 18 after three quarters. And then they came back. They cut the deficit down to just 3 points. Twice, I believe, in that fourth quarter. But I guess the other way to look at it is the ditch they dug themselves was too deep for them to climb out of. And in the end, it was a magnificent 42-point performance by Jaylen Brown, who the Celtics were brilliantly running sets to get switches of Brunson onto Brown, and Brown just kept shooting over him, driving past him, just punishing him left and right. And sometimes you just have to live with that because Brunson will be doing the same on the other end, but not tonight. This might have been one of Brunson's worst games as a Knick tonight. On a night when many Knicks shot the lights out. Bridges shot 70%. Josh Hart shot 64%. Towns 63%. Deuce even hit 50%. But Brunson only could muster up 28.6%, and he took the most shot attempts, 21. He was abysmal from deep, 1 for 8, and the Knicks just in the end got punished. They got punished there in Boston, but there was a moment there where it looked like Mikal Bridges was going to spark this team to victory. It got so close. He kept hitting big monster three after monster three. He delivered 30 points for these Knicks in the second half. 30 points. And he alone, if the Knicks had been able to pull off this win, and there's a key stretch in the fourth quarter that I'm going to talk about where I felt Coach Brown made some poor decisions in lineups construction. But there was a moment there where it looked like Mikal Bridges was going to will this Knicks team to victory, and then he will forever have been known as the Celtic killer. Because in the state of Massachusetts, they would have had his face up on posters as this man wanted man. He was lights out. Unbelievable. We'll get into that. We're going to break this game down. I wish the Knicks had pulled this one out, but man, there was a moment there in the third quarter where they let go of the rope. They just collapsed in the final 2 minutes of the third quarter, and they allowed Boston to close on a 12-0 run, and the score was 94-76 at the end of the third quarter. And that's after the Knicks were down 6. And then Boston continues their momentum into the third quarter with a 10-5 run in those first 3 minutes to build a 68-57 lead. Towns gets blocked by this guy Jordan Walsh, who definitely was an impact player for the Celtics tonight. The Knicks could not make buckets. They were 3 of 9 in that beginning of that third quarter, while Boston was 3 of 6. And official review takes a 3-point away from Boston. Derek White, and that was a key moment because then Knicks get an offensive rebound and Mikal slices and dices his way to the hoop for 2 and cuts the deficit down to just 7. It was 70-63. So the Knicks responded with their own little mini 6-2 mini run, and then Deuce hits a 3, and now it's 72-66 with about 3 minutes left in the game. I mean in the third quarter. Sorry, in the third quarter, 72-66. Actually, it was more than that. There was more time left. But from that point on, Boston outscored the Knicks 22-10, and that includes that 12-0 run. So the Knicks held tight there until the final 2 minutes and let go of it, and they dug themselves a deep hole. And I had realized by that point, at the end of that third quarter, we had not seen a single minute of the double big lineup with Cat and Mitch. And guess who comes out in the fourth quarter? Cat and Mitch, Clarkson, Josh Hart, and Tyler Kolek is the lineup that comes out in the fourth quarter. And that lineup responds. They go on a nice 11-2 run to open the fourth quarter. Cat gets a nice drive down in the lane. He bully balls for 2. Then he hits a 3. I think it was his own. Oh, he hit 2 of 5 from the three-point line, but he hits that three right then. Clarkson then banks a three, gets fouled, hits it, so it's a 4-point play, but it wasn't a great shot. Clarkson was pretty bad tonight. He was 1 of 5 overall. The one bucket he made was that bank shot. And then Cat tries a behind the back dribble in the paint. Results in a turnover. And now it's 102-87. So while the Knicks are trying to mount this comeback, 102-87, but that's when Mikal Bridges steps up, hits a three, then gets fouled on a three-point attempt, the next three-point attempt, the next possession. And now it's 102-90. And it gets upgraded to a flagrant. So he hits all 3 of his free throws. The Knicks get the ball back. Towns gets an offensive rebound, gets the putback and one. And now suddenly it's 102-96. Knicks are now on a 9-0 run in just 43 seconds. A 9-0 run in that fourth quarter. And then Deuce, with some great defense out on the perimeter on Derek White, forces a really toughish three-point attempt. Knicks get the ball, and guess who comes down? Mikal buries a three. Boom. Hits it. Now, he had 22 points at that point in the half. So now the Knicks go on a 12, caps a 12-0 run for the Knicks, and it's 102-99 with 6 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game. 3-point game with 6 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game. And that momentum got crushed. There was a moment there, and we're going to get into that. Let's go. Oh, if this is your first time here, please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Drop your comments. Definitely want to hear your thoughts and feelings about anything Knicks. Join the channel. If you want to support the channel, that'd be awesome. Check out the merch store as well. Holidays are here. I will be dropping a holiday discount code tomorrow, so check for that. And let's get into it. Knicks lose 123-117 to the Boston Celtics in Boston. So now the Knicks are 3-6 on the road. And Boston is 7-4. Yeah, 7-4 at home. They're a tough team. They're a much better team than I thought they were going to be this year. The role players have stepped up for them, and Jaylen Brown just had a monster game today. But this guy, unbelievable. 35 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and I'll be waxing more about his amazing play, especially in that fourth quarter. How he once again was able to get the Knicks back down within 3 points. Of course, it was much less time at that point, and that's when the clock became the enemy. But that's what happens when you let go of the rope on a team like this, and then suddenly you're down 18. With 12 minutes left, it's a tough hill to climb. I'm going to keep using that metaphor. But look at this here: 35 points, 12 of 17 shooting, 8 of 12 from the 3-point line, 8 of 12. He missed that last 3 attempt, which really would have been fabulous. But you can't. I mean, look, he was 8 of 12 at this point, so he was phenomenal. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals for him. Christian Winfield tweeted this out. This is Mike Brown in the postgame interview talking about Mikal Bridges. He said he was feeling it and he was aggressive, and I thought our guys did a good job trying to find him, and he hit some big shots for us. He was one of the guys trying to will us back into the game offensively. Totally. And I will tell you this, he also played some good defense, even though he was on the court for that stretch when the Knicks, I believe he was on the court on the stretch when the Knicks let go of the rope. But he did finish. He finished a +6. Okay, so there you go. But the story in this game was the points conceded off the turnovers. And we'll get into that. Another tweet here, another Mike Brown quote on Jalen Brunson. I felt he got the normal looks that he normally takes. He's got to keep shooting them, and he's got to keep getting hit to his spots. I thought he got to his spots, and I thought he took good threes. They just didn't go in. And you know what? I'm going to agree with him. There were some plays there, especially late in the game, in the fourth quarter, where I was thinking, you know what? Is Brunson overdoing it? Should he just be looking for Mikal or Towns? Because Cat ended up having a very productive game himself. 29 points on 12 of 19 shooting. 7 rebounds. He had a couple assists. He did commit 4 turnovers, though, but he was a +10. So he was he was hurting the Celtics, even though he was frustrated for long stretches in the game because he felt he was getting fouled and wasn't getting calls, and it got into his head, and then he committed silly fouls on the other end, frustration fouls, I'd call them. But Brunson, this is a moment where he should have known, look, it's not my night, but they have to respect my game, my gravity, but maybe I can find an open guy, create a nice look for somebody else. And he forced 2 attempts late within the last 2 minutes of the game that didn't go in, and they turned into points on the other end. So I do agree that he got his looks. He got to his spots. They just didn't go in. It was really one was like it was a bunny right in front of for him, a bunny. Now he has to work incredibly hard to get these looks. In another one, it looked like he had beat Minot. I think that was his name, but then Minot just totally blocked him. It was a very, very frustrating game for Brunson overall, especially in that fourth quarter. Brunson was 2 of 7 in the fourth quarter in 8 minutes of play, 0 for 2 from a three-point line. But he did pick up 4 assists, which was nice. But yeah, he definitely he really did hurt the Knicks. He's one of the main reasons why the Knicks lost this game. However, that said, there was plenty of other scoring around. Let's look at this box score. This is the Knicks box score here. Look at this. When you have 3 starters shooting over 63%, and the next starter shooting 50%, you should be able to overcome your all-star, all-NBA guard, point guard having an off night. But he did play almost 40 minutes, 39 minutes here. He 6 of 21. You should be able to overcome that kind of night. So the Knicks shot as a team 50.6% as a team. They shot 43% from 3. The free throw line was a bit of a disaster. They shot only 70%. They hit, 85% of their shots. That gets them a little closer. One of those buckets drops in, and then we're talking maybe a tie game going into overtime, or you pull off a miraculous win. And it was really Mitch who missed. He was 1 of 4 from the free throw line. Brunson missed one of his as well, and so did Yabusele. Yabusele played 8 minutes in this game, and I had a question. I know he's a -8 here, but where was he in that fourth quarter when the Knicks needed some rebounding? They had way too small a lineup. It was Clarkson, Kolek, and Deuce, I believe. That's just not enough size to get rebounds. And that ultimately really did hurt the Knicks during that key stretch, which we will look at in a minute. I don't have highlights. Look at in terms of breaking this down. Well, I guess this is it. This is the stretch right here. I've been teasing it for a minute. Let's get into it here. This is it. So, James Edwards III, the trilogy, tweeted this out, and he captured the moment perfectly for us here. That's brutal for New York. After a Celtics timeout following a Bridges 3, Boston got a wide-open 3 from Minot and 2 offensive rebounds from Jordan Walsh, which he didn't say it, but turned into buckets. A tip in by Walsh and a 1 foot putback by Walsh. The score at that moment, when the timeout was taken, it was 102-99. So the Knicks were down 18 points at the beginning of this quarter, and they had whittled the lead down to just 3. The deficit down to just 3. So they were on a 15-plus run right here. Here it is. So this is the Bridges 3 that he's talking about. So he hits this 3. Actually, let's see if they show it. Are they going to show it? Here it is. Boom, he hits it. Okay, so he calls a timeout. Celtics do. There's 6:28 left in the game. 3-point game. And then at that moment, Missoula subs in Jordan Walsh for Gonzalez, the young 19-year-old Spaniard who's really, I think he's going to be a pretty fabulous player. So then we come in, and here we go. Look at this. Walsh kicks it out, and then White sends it over to Minot. Boom. 3-pointer right there. That's right after this timeout. So it's only a 3-point game here. It's the first play, wide open. Wide open shot right there. Why was Brunson? I guess Cat leaves this guy. Brunson, yeah, they got all mixed up with their switches right there. Then, yeah, let's go back. Well, let's ride this out. I didn't realize we were going to be able to do this. This is great. So then Minot misses a 3-point attempt, and it turns into a Walsh. I think this will show it to us here. So right after that, then Brunson goes in, gets a layup. So now it's 105-101. So we're just down 4. Great. But here we go. Another offensive rebound. Here we go. There. Watch. So Minot misses, and look at this. It's Brunson trying to block out Walsh. The sizer, and he gets a putback right there. Unfair. And now it's 107-101. But it doesn't end there. Look at the players. Deuce, Clarkson, Brunson, and Mikal, and Towns. But Towns has to chase out Minot out on the 3-point line. No size in the interior to get a defensive rebound, so another offensive rebound there. Okay, let's go back. And then Brunson misses a step back open 3-pointer right here. This is a shot he usually makes. Look how short that shot was so off for him. He usually makes a shot like that. So I have no issue with him taking that shot. Then later on, I do. So here comes another moment here. Let's see if they play the entire clip right here. All right, so here we go. So now Brown spins, gets into the lane, but an awkward shot, and then Walsh gets the rebound. Again, who's the guy there? Clarkson. Look at tiny Clarkson, tiny Brunson. My question is, when Walsh was subbed in for Gonzalez, why didn't Brown turn to one of his good rebounders? Either Josh Hart or somebody with any size like Yabusele. This is when Yabusele should have come into this game. If Hart wasn't ready because he needed more rest, then bring in Yabusele here at the 6:28 timeout, and maybe one of these offensive rebounds gets negated by Yabusele. And that momentum that the Knicks had been riding to cut this thing down to just 3 with plenty of time left, now suddenly it's an 8-point game with 5 minutes left here. And then the Knicks could not buy a bucket. Finally, Hart gets subbed in for Clarkson with about 4:59 left. Deuce misses a 3-pointer. Then Brunson makes a bad pass turnover. Boom. Walsh, it's a steal. They credit this as a Walsh steal. And then we come down. Luckily, White made a bad out-of-bounds pass. And then, but look how much time has ticked off here. 1 minute and 15 seconds since Hart checked into this game. But really, it's 3 minutes, over 3 minutes since that first timeout where Walsh came into the game. And now Towns gets this dunk, which is nice off of Brunson assist. Beautiful. Now it's a 6-point game. 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. Another Celtics timeout. Great. And this was, I think there was an instant replay. I forgot the details here, but oh yeah, this was a nice pass, a dunk, and there was a foul, and then Cat got the and one. So now it's a 5-point game, but right away, White pulls up for a jump shot, hits a big 3-pointer right here. Look at this. Look how wide. Look at this. Steps over, but look, I mean, that was somewhat decent defense, but having to rotate over to guard the guy who's that that was Walsh again. Walsh just making the right plays. Making the right plays. So that was a killer bucket. So now it's an 8-point game with 3:30 left. But the Knicks were not going to go away. They made the Celtics sweat, and they made me feel like this thing could happen. Josh Hart makes a 3, a layup, gets an and one, the old school 3. So now it's a 5-point game, 112-107. Bridges commits a foul, but Jaylen Brown only hits 1 of 2. Okay, we get the ball back, a little bit under 3 minutes left in the game. Josh Hart gets an offensive rebound. kicks it out to Bridges for a three, buries it for his 30th point, and now once again, it's a 3-point game. 113-110 with 2:40 left. This is where it was tough. Because this is when Brunson should have kept looking for Mikal or for Towns. And here, this is another Walsh impact play right here. Boom. Drives in. Look at this. He fakes. And this was just a tough, he forced him into a tough attempt. But he's got the size on, who was that? Who was trying to guard him there? Was that Deuce? Yeah, it was Deuce. Shout out to him. He pulled that one off. That was a monster bucket at that moment. So then it put the lead up to 5 points with 2 minutes left. Still very close. But here it is. Brunson misses this floater. Look how he's working for it. Gets in there. He makes that most of the time. That's one of his money shots. But there was something awkward the way he released it. I think like he got caught in between. Like if he was going to shoot it with his right hand, because I feel like he felt the defender coming on his left side. Was that? Yeah, he thought maybe. Yeah. Again, Walsh stepping in front. So that's. I would have rather him found somebody else for an attempt right there. And then he commits a foul. And then Brown makes both of his buckets because the Celtics kept running sets to get switches to get Brunson onto Brown so that Brown could punish him, and it worked for most of the night. Brown hits both those. Now it's 117-110 with 1:47 left. Now you have to be perfect to overcome a 7-point deficit right now with less than 2 minutes left. And here is another one of those misses that I was talking about that Brunson usually makes. His dribble's a little out of control right there. But he turns the corner. That he usually makes that. He makes that 9 times out of 10. Or he forces a foul. Couldn't connect right there. Again, this is where look, Mikal, get it to Mikal behind you, or send it over to Deuce. Deuce had been hitting threes. Anything but this. But again, it's a shot he normally makes, but tonight wasn't that night. Tonight wasn't that night for him. And then, but even after that, 2 free throws by White. Here's another thing. So then to exacerbate the situation, Josh Hart, off of this, this attempt that normally would go in, then Josh Hart fouls Derek White. Still a minute and a half left, only 7-point game. So now you immediately put him on the line. Instead of giving your defense a chance, an opportunity to get a stop, and maybe you get a 3, and then suddenly it's just a 4-point game with about a minute left. Now, instead, he turns it into a 9-point game. Those are and that's pretty much the game. That was pretty much the game right there. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. But at the same time, the Knicks put a scare in the Celtics. Once again, this is a team that came back twice in the playoffs against them. 20-point deficits. So the Knicks almost snatched their heart out of their chest once again. And it would have been Mikal Bridges who would have led the way. I think if Mikal had gotten a couple more shot attempts, maybe he gets the 21 attempts instead of Brunson, and Brunson gets the 17. They switch that. He makes 2 more of those, and then there's not any turnovers. Boom. Knicks could have won this game, could have pulled this game off. But shout out to Brunson. He did pick up 11 assists in this game. And now I'm going to show you what the major, let's see, do they have it here? Points conceded off turnovers. Because that was, I guess I'll just speak to it. I'll just speak to it right here. Okay, this is the fourth quarter stats. And this is a game when the Knicks got off to a blazing hot start. They shot, in the first quarter, they were 6 of 13 from the three-point line. 42.6%. Outstanding. Outstanding right there. That's in the first quarter. But look at this. In in the first quarter, the Knicks were a +9 in points conceded off turnovers. Celtics had conceded 11 points off of those turnovers. Knicks had only conceded 2, and the Knicks were up 32-21 in this quarter. But then in the second quarter, which was a terrible quarter for the Knicks, probably the worst quarter. Was this the worst? This might have been the worst quarter of the game for the Knicks. The Knicks gave up. Look at this. They gave up 17 points margin right here in the second quarter. But here, here's points off turnovers. Here it is. The Knicks gave up 12 points off turnovers and only got back 3. So the +9 they were in the first quarter got nulled by a -9 in points conceded off turnovers in the second quarter. Now that's just the first half. Then you look at the actual second half. Here we go. In the second half, the Knicks conceded 11 points off turnovers, and Boston only conceded 5 off turnovers right there. That's 6 points. That is the margin of defeat. 123-117. Knicks didn't take care of the ball. They didn't take care of the ball well enough. Even though they didn't commit necessarily that many turnovers really for the game. I think what did they commit? 10 turnovers. But they gave up 25 points off of those 10 turnovers. That is wild. That's 2.5 points per turnover. Wait, how does that work? Must have been fouls and all that. Oh, man. Brutality. Here is the team stats. You can see both teams shot really well. I mean, Boston killed us in the paint. They were destroying us in the paint in the first half. They were a +18 in the first half in points in the paint, 32-14. The Knicks were able to close that gap in the second half, but still were lost it by 14, 56-42. And that was a night because they could not hit threes. They were only 13 of 40 from the three-point line, shooting 32%, while the Knicks connected on 19 of 44, 43%. Any given night of the season, Knicks win by 10 or 15 points when they shoot the three-pointer like that. Crazy. Knicks were out-rebounded tonight, 38-34, and you saw what Jordan Walsh did. The assists, Knicks almost got 30 assists, which that's nice. That's a shout out to Brunson with his 11 assists. The fast break points, the Knicks, Boston is pretty good on transition points. Knicks were able to match that, actually bested that 16-15, but the points in the paint was just too much to overcome. And in terms of, the points conceded off turnovers, it was 25-19. Too much of a hurdle to overcome. All right. Again, if you want to support the channel, please become a member. That'd be wonderful. And you get the members-only halftime reports, which are a lot of fun to do. And, discounts and, priority replies and all that jazz. Also, check out the store. Get your merch in time for the holidays. I have a feeling, I wanted the Knicks to go 4-0 in this week of 4 games coming up. But if the Knicks were going to go 3-1, I did not want the one loss to be against the Magic on Sunday. So they got their loss out of the way, and it's a close game. Knicks haven't played that many close games this season. So it ended up becoming a close game. Some poor late game execution. Some poor lineup choices by Mike Brown. I think Yabusele should have been in during that stretch for Clarkson. Clarkson gave us nothing during that stretch in terms of the defense and rebounding as well. Get some size on the court. And he stuck with this lineup way too long in the third quarter. Where was that? He stuck with one lineup way too long. It was in the second quarter. The Kolek, Clarkson, Cat, Deuce, and Hart lineup stuck with it way too long, and that's when the Celtics went on a tear of a run to take the lead. Yeah, their 14-point lead disappeared like that in that second quarter. So I think this will be a learning game for the Knicks. They'll learn from this, hopefully, and take care of business tomorrow night against Charlotte. And then they play, who do we play on Friday? I can't remember who we play on Friday, but we play the Magic on Sunday. Who do we play on Friday? Anyway, I think the Knicks can go 3-0 for the next 3 games. So then finish 3-1 for this week and get some revenge on the Magic. That would be sweet. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe. Follow me on social media. Share the video. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Drop your comments. Want to hear your thoughts and feelings about anything Knicks. And I will see you around the Knicks-Verse. Let's go. Get back on winning track.